The 1991 confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is known as one of the most vicious in modern history. One America's Neil W. McCabe spoke to Thomas's friend Armstrong Williams about that fight and how Thomas is handling the loss of his colleague Justice Antonin Scalia.
Armstrong Williams, the senior advisor to Dr. Ben Carson and talk show radio host, is also a longtime friend of Justice Clarence Thomas. And he told One America News that the death of Justice Antonin Scalia was a tough personal blow to Thomas.
In many of the conversations over the years that I've had with my mentor, one of the recurring themes is that about life and death. He sees his friend and hero's death in a spiritual and a biblical context. Yes, he's devastated. Profound grief.
Stephen Moore, the founder of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, said Thomas and Scalia worked as a team.
Clarence Thomas and Anthony Scalia were intellectual soulmates. They saw the world very similarly, and they believed in the Constitution.
Scalia was confirmed 98-0, but for Thomas, the confirmation was a nightmare. President George H.W. Bush nominated Clarence Thomas for the Supreme Court 16 months before the 1992 election. The Democrats, who adamantly opposed Thomas, brought forward a woman who claimed Thomas had sexually harassed her, turning the confirmation hearings into a circus. Williams, who was part of the team working to support the Thomas confirmation, said Thomas refused to give in, and he was ready to bring up a scandal involving a Democratic senator.
When he testified on that Friday evening, talked about high-tech lynching, he said, "You're not going to judge me." Senator Ted Kennedy knew that Justice Thomas was about to bring up Chappaquiddick, and so these senators, they were intimidated.
Williams said two factors worked for Thomas. First, black Americans overwhelmingly supported Thomas in the polls, and second, Senator Kennedy was told in person what is coming.
Oh, he knew. He was briefed. Yes. Thomas is a warrior. It was fair game.
Moore told One America News, conservatives must remember how tough it was to put Thomas on the bench.
One of the lessons that I take away from Clarence Thomas's hearing, which was really one of the seminal events in Washington in the last several decades, is that Democrats will lie, cheat, steal, say anything to try to stop conservative nominees. I think it's high time conservatives use the kinds of political tactics to try to block putting liberals on the bench.
Neil W. McCabe, One America News, Washington.